he's like in there. I'm like, hell no.
Yeah, hell
And
no.
like I go and I talk to them. I'm like, I think your neighbor just got like broken into. Like, I'm not positive. Like, maybe this is your neighbor, but I don't recognize this guy, and he just crawled in through the fucking window.
Yeah.
And so, 110 of the Scheuneman Show. Welcome back.
That's how
We're here.
You crashing into the wall.
It's called Jesus.
We're here fresh out the shower, and we've accomplished a laugh that you guys, I guess, maybe know where it's coming from. That's the thing we're doing from now on, remember? We have to always be laughing about a joke that the audience will never get.
Never know.
We have, and I mean it this time. Usually I'll say this like every episode, and then it's just like a normal episode. We're doing a quick nitro run, and I think that we're gonna start off. I have a story for you guys.
Okay.
It's a story of
I didn't do it.
redemption, drama, mistakes, problems, suspension, suspense, fear, horror, people, characters, women, men, straight people, gay people,
Everyone.
homes, the outdoors, pavement, dirt.
Sounds like just
Cars.
daily life things. You
It's-
know, that
it's
you
everything,
Just
yeah,
see
it's
every,
like-
you know,
yeah.
just
Cops, citizens,
we just see
the military, maybe, kids,
maybe.
adults, women, children.
You said women.
I
and
mean,
kids.
should you just
Alright,
say the
so
world?
what
Human
happened?
Does this ever end?
Human
So
skin,
what happened?
hair,
Molecules, atoms,
vagina, nucleus,
Fuck.
nucleus, rising action, climax, finale.
Okay.
prologue, epilogue.
It's there's not much involved into it, but no. Story time. All right, so I was born 2000 July 12th
Okay.
in a hospital room.
This is your
So-
life story.
So I was born. I have a mom and a dad. And
Okay.
by the way, so I'm starting at the beginning of the story.
Wait, you had a mom and a dad?
My first birthday.
Not just a dad.
The story takes place. The climax was like a week ago, but we have to make it there. So on my first birthday, my parents got a divorce, and
Give
it was
fuck.
very traumatic for me.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding. All right, so the other day, I was arriving at, I was getting off work, and it was probably like 1 a.m, and like every other night, I'm on my way to my girlfriend's house,
Okay.
and so I park. She lives in this big like apartment complex, and for some reason it's just like there's nowhere to fucking park, and so I always have to park like.
Hold on, you said a big apartment complex, but nowhere to park. That fucking.
Well, it's filled.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
know.
there's so many. Like I've never seen an apartment complex like so, like parking is always full, and it's
crazy.
really a pain in the ass. And so I have to park at the very end of the parking lot. I'm walking, and there's like, just as a little backstory, there's always like security cars with their lights on and shit, like always roaming around the building, because I think there's been a break-in before, like at another apartment in the complex, and then there's also been multiple car break-ins. Like,
Fuck, bro. Do you worry about that, like with your car and shit?
yes, a lot, because I've had my car broken into before. It's not fun. There was this
setting
one
booby
time,
traps.
like little mini break story. I've told it on the pod, but for the people who don't know, I went to this rave one time, and we were like struggling for parking, and we finally parked like on this road by the frats and shit.
Frats even said it would be okay, didn't they?
The people, like the neighbors, people living there, they're like, yeah, you're cool to
Yeah,
park
you're
here.
good, yeah.
And then there was this guy like eyeballing us as we were parking, and so like we were all sketched out by that. Cole was here for this, and we were like
Rest in peace,
watching.
Cole, man. Miss you.
Yeah, it's been rough. We were watching this guy as we were parking, because he's just staring us down, like pacing back and forth. we finally park. Long story short, after the show, we get back to the car. And keep in mind, like a person living there, like a neighbor or whatever, had told us, like, oh, you're cool to park here. Like, they won't tell you. It's cool.
Yeah.
And so we get back to the car, and one of my windows is smashed open. Just completely
Fucking horrible.
smashed.
Dude. It was fucking
And
horrible.
almost what's even worse is, like, nothing was stolen. Nothing at all. They just smashed it for fun.
Didn't you have something valuable just sitting right there?
There
too,
was,
or
like,
something?
like a fucking bag of money, 3 ounces.
Yeah, there was
guns,
weed. All
and,
yeah.
like,
all
obviously, I'm joking, but yes, there were valuables, and they just smashed it for fun. And as I'm like looking at it, like, what the fuck? Like, this one of the other neighbors was like, oh yeah, you should never park here. Like, people would just smash windows for fun. It was like, tell your fucking neighbor that, because he told me that
Yeah,
it's
he's
chill.
okay.
And like, and then he's like, yeah, it kind of sucks. And then he just steps inside. I was like, bro, your front yard is just the trenches. Anyway.
The trenches.
So I've had to deal with like car break-ins and shit, sketchy people. One of the first couple of times I like came to the apartment complex, I saw like a car was parked there, like not the car that had been there previously, because there was broken, shattered car window glass like right next to like. So this shit happens all the time, and so I'm always kind of watching my ones and twos, my six, all that, head on a swivel. And so I'm walking to, I go into the back door of her apartment, and I'm walking up, and as I'm walking up, I see this dude. It's like 1 a.m, and I see this dude like looking sketchy. He's got like a do-rag on and like a trench coat kind of thing, like, and he's like pacing back and forth. He's like standing right by the back door of my girl's apartment, and then like looking at the door, and then he'll like walk back a little bit and look in through like a window, not the window to my girl's apartment, but like a different window.
Oh, it's so
He's like
creepy.
pacing back and forth. As soon as he sees me, he's like staring at me. He like looks at me. I'm looking at him, and as he's looking at me, he's like patting his like pockets and shit, like
What the fuck?
like almost looking like he's looking for like a strap or something. I'm like, what the fuck? Like I'm looking at him. I'm like, this guy is weird.
Yeah, it's
Like
weird.
pacing back and forth. He was standing right by the back door, like just standing there on his phone and shit, put his phone away, get his phone back out, like pacing, looking in windows and shit. I'm like, what the fuck? And so I'm like, fuck this. Like, I'm about to make sure nothing's going on. So I literally just, there's a chair on my girl's back porch. I just pop a squat on the chair. I'm just sitting there and like letting him know, like, I'm staying here. Like, if you plan on doing some shit, I'm going to watch.
For sure.
Like, and so I text my girl. I'm like, are you expecting anybody? And I can hear her because I'm sitting by the back door. She's like, reads my text. She's like, expecting somebody. Like, what? And I'm like, that's a no. And then she texts me like, no, why? And I was like, there's a weird ass dude just like standing right by the back door and like pacing and shit, looking at me weird. And she's like, that's weird. Like, we noticed him and like a second ago. Her cousin was over. I was like, yeah, shit is kind of weird. Like, this
Yeah,
guy's like
definitely.
just acting sus as fuck. And so I'm sitting there, and then her cousin comes out, and he's like, yeah, like, we saw this. He's like kind of our age, like kind of funny. This should be okay to say. It's kind of funny. This guy's like our age. He's kind of chill dude, but he's also been to jail for evading police on an hour-long highway cop chase.
That's awesome.
So.
Jeez, he was just trying to find a way to get away.
Bro,
Probably.
he was like, I was like, I've been meaning to tell him, like, just by the way, if you're trying to get away from the cops, never go on the highway. Like, hit your cuts.
For sure.
Because they'll just, he went to multiple counties. Like,
Oh, he's not
multiple
even from
different
there.
counties of cops were following him. Anyway, so I'm talking to him. He's like, yeah, we noticed that guy a few minutes ago. Like, he was acting weird, but we just figured it wasn't a big deal. And I was like, yeah, so I'm going to just chill here for a second. He goes back inside. I'm sitting there. I look at him. He looks at me. And then he looks at this window. And he walks up to it. And he, like, puts his hands on it. And he just pushes in the screen of the window. And then he starts to crawl in the window. So he starts crawling in the window. And I see his fucking legs just sticking out the window. I'm like, no fucking way. I'm like, this dude is literally breaking into this apartment. And it's like 1:30 in the morning. And he's been pacing there and shit. And so he like gets in the window and like fucking balls in. I hear his like fucking, and so he's like in there. I'm like, hell no.
Yeah, hell
And
no,
like
bro.
I go and I talk to them. I'm like, I think your neighbor just got like broken into. Like I'm not positive. Like maybe this is your neighbor, but I don't recognize this guy, and he just crawled in through the fucking window.
Yeah.
And so, so immediately everybody's like, "Oh hell no, that's weird as fuck." That guy's been standing out there for like 15 minutes before you got there, and I was like, "Whoa!" Like, and then so the cousin walks out with me, and we're looking, and he like walks up to the street to where he can look into the window we crawled in, and it's like completely dark, and he's walking around with his like phone flashlight, and it's like he like flicks the light on, then flicks it right back off, and so cousin dude's looking at him, and he's like got a couple things in his hands, and he like gets behind like the bed or the wall or something, and then he just looks at the cousin that's looking at him, and they make eye contact.
Hell yeah.
And then he ducks again.
Bro, this was so he definitely wasn't supposed to be in that building.
So he's seen this guy. He's seen someone was looking at him. He's like, "Oh hell no, no, no!" And like hides. And so immediately after that, cousin dude walks into me. He's like, "Oh hell no!" Like I'm about to call the fucking cops. Like that's sus as fuck. Like he just saw me and then hid. And I was like, yeah, that's weird. And so this whole time I'm like, so he starts to call the cops. And I'm like, shit, that's crazy. Like, that'll be interesting. And meanwhile, I'm like, I already know what I'm about to talk about on the podcast because this is already weird. It gets worse. And so, but at a certain point, I started to think, like, okay, as sus as this guy's acting, like, when I walked up, he looked really weird. Like, he was looking at me and, like, touching his pockets, like, staring me down and then, like, pacing. Like, it just looked off. And so, like, I was a little suspicious, but for some reason, as soon as he started to say I'm about to call the cops, I started to be like, well, like there's a chance that this could be like not a robbery. Like there maybe could be an explanation. Like
Maybe it's a family member.
He had looked at his phone, but then you're going through the window and you're crawling in. You're pacing.
Doesn't add up to me, bro.
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to make excuses for him. I'm like, I mean, maybe he was trying to get a hold of somebody. Like I saw him look at his phone a couple times.
Yeah.
But like, I'm like, shit,
He's
I
like,
don't know.
Shaniqua, you're supposed to be here 10 minutes ago. I look like I'm breaking in this bitch right now.
Shante, you're gonna get me shot. No, but so like, I'm like, shit, that's crazy. And so he's calling the cops. They're like, it's weird when you call the cops. Like they always kind of seem annoyed with you.
Yeah, right?
Like,
hello, thank you for calling the police department. How may I help you?
and have you ever noticed like the police hardly ever can do shit for you before the crime has happened, which is like, on one hand, like I can like it makes sense. Like it's not like they can just fucking read the future and like you're innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
Unless it always feels that like they'll say that and it feels that way. Whenever it doesn't involve you, whenever something's happening to you, that's how it is. But whenever it feels like you're involved with like the potential crime or criminal behavior, it never feels that way. It always feels like they're real fucking proactive. So, but like when he's on the phone and I hear them like, they're like, he's trying to explain what's happening and they're like, all right. And then he's trying to explain like, they're asking him like what the apartment is and he gives them the address and I'm like, no, like what's the apartment number? And it's like,
bro, just come to the fucking area.
Here's the address. Like, here's my apartment number. I don't know the apartment that's getting broken into. I wasn't prepared for this.
Are you even on your way yet?
Yeah, and like, so they kind of get an attitude. The conversation goes on. So I'm like, fuck, I really got to shower. I'm gonna try and take a super quick shower.
Julian over here.
Before this shit, like,
Said I really got to shower.
I was like, something's about to happen, and I want to see it, but I need to take a shower.
Look good.
So I got into the shower real quick. And I make it quick, and so sorry, I just remembered I have like another story kind of similar. But so I'm like, I get in the shower, I get out, and then as I'm getting dressed, like not even dressed, I'm drying off my hair and shit, and they're like, oh, the cops are here, and I was like, oh shit, I gotta get out there. So I just put on pants, no underwear, no shirt. I just put on pants. And so
for you balling,
I literally run out there clapping and shit, and so there's a dog there, and like the dog sees the cops out the back door and starts like growling and barking. I'm like, put her away, she's gonna get shot. Like cops will literally just fucking unload on dogs. I don't know if you know this, but if you have a dog and cops come to your house and they walk in and they feel even slightly threatened to begin with, and then your dog makes them feel like threatened, they'll fucking off the thing. Like it's sad. I've seen it happen.
Jesus Christ.
And so I'm like, yeah, put her up. And so the cops are sitting out there, and we see them get out the car, and then keep in mind this. I forgot to mention the guy like crawled back out the window.
Okay.
And he had left. So, because at this point it's
During
been,
the shower?
Spider-Man.
I seen like he crawled in. We like peeked at him. Then he hid like he did, and they did a couple things more. Like maybe 5 minutes later, he crawls back out and leaves.
Okay.
And so he's been gone, and the cops pull up, and the window's still like fucking open, like
That's
open
clear
and
as
shit.
day, yeah.
And
Screen kicked out.
yeah. And so the cops pull up and they walk out the car. And it was funny because you can like, it was something about like how they had their lights on, like their flashlights on their vests or whatever, that like you see them walk up towards the apartment window, and then just from the shadows and the way the light is, you can tell that they're crawling in through the window.
What?
And so I'm like, shit, like I fucking like hope we got this right, because imagine being someone just like sitting in your house and then fucking cops just crawling through your window.
Yeah, bro.
Hell no.
So anyway, this part's important because this is when it gets kind of crazy. So they crawl in through the window, and they're like slow, guns drawn, by the way.
Oh.
Because
So
they
they
think
come
it's a
heated
robbery.
like that? Well, yeah.
Yeah, these Columbus cops, I'll tell you a really quick story after this, but like I have experience with them, like just coming in, guns drawn. To be fair, like I have an example where they got a 911 call about a robbery, and an example where they got a call about something violent. So
Do you remember the example of me driving to your house and I fucking literally was next to a police chase? Do you remember?
yes, that shit was crazy. Dude, anyway,
yeah.
so they go into the window, and they're there for like 30 seconds to a minute, and then the next thing you know, like, cause we're right next door to them, like they're a next door neighbor, and the next thing you know, you hear like fucking screams,
Oh shit.
screaming, like,
Okay.
like, ah!
So
Type
like the
shit.
cops are crawling in, and then you
Cops
hear.
crawl in, and then they're in the like, I guess like progressing through the room slowly, and then must have like turned the corner and like heard
There was
screaming and shit.
someone there.
So then like 5-10 minutes passes, and then gunshots happen. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my
but-
gosh, bro! You really
And-
about shook me up real quick.
And then like the cops come to our door, knock, and then the cousin walks out and starts talking to him. And I'm like, all right, shit, this is where we're going to find out, like, is this a real break-in? What's going on? And so I like look, I put my ear up to the door. I hear some talking, some back and forth, and then I hear like laughing.
Oh
I'm like,
shit!
This wasn't a break-in.
No.
I was like, shit. And so a couple minutes passes, and then he comes back in, and he's got like that shit-eating grin on his face. He's like, like, fuck. I was like, that wasn't a robbery, was it? He was like, it's complicated. And he was
Wasn't
like,
it
all
an
right.
affair or something?
So what happened was this kid, he was like, he looked like older than me.
Okay.
But apparently it was like a kid who had just graduated,
Oh.
and he was sneaking out of his apartment to go to a party. And so he had gotten ready for this party and was waiting for his ride, and I guess like forgot something.
Oh, went back
So went
in.
to sneak back out, and then so his parents are home, and
You
and
guys called the
The
cops?
cops crawled in through the window, so they're in the
To his
living room,
mom.
and they turn the corner with guns drawn. Like, imagine being in that fucking situation. Like, I would be pissed in all different directions.
Yes.
Bro,
I'll be
you know
like,
how not
hold up.
to get into another thing though is you kind of have to be like on high alert to turn a corner, someone scream, and you not like accidentally like.
If they would have
Bro,
got
you gotta-
like the wrong guy on the job,
Bro.
somebody's getting shot.
Bro, that's what I'm saying.
And I mean, bro, I'm not saying I would do it for sure, but like if you're just chilling watching TV, you got The Simpsons on or whatever, and then
You think someone just
not
broke
the
in your
front
house?
not the front door, But you hear noise in like the room next to you, and then like cops are here, like in the living room without coming in through an entrance. Like they crawled in through your window.
What if you really thought someone was breaking your house and you
Exactly.
get into a
exactly. And so, and that's why you need really fucking trained cops, because that situation could have got really dicey.
bro?
Really fast.
Really fucking dicey.
But you guys didn't know anything, so it's
He
like,
almost issued a hit on a family.
Bro, it was insane. So like,
wow.
so they're like freaking out. They're like, why the fuck are cops here? And then they start to put everything together that this kid had just snuck out.
Yeah.
And he's just graduated high school and he's like going to a party. And so when I hear this, I'm like, fuck. We just like that could have been me.
Yeah, when you were, yeah.
I've been in that situation hella times. Like, and the fact that this kid even has to sneak out, he just graduated. That's crazy.
Bro, now you just made this kid feel like a bitch getting caught.
Yeah, now he's like at a party, and imagine how pissed.
Not over that.
Imagine
He no longer lives there. I'm sure.
Imagine how pissed the parents were. Like, bro, you're never gonna believe what just fucking happened. Like, cops just came in, guns drawn. He's like,
Wait.
what?
I'm confused though. You said just graduated and still sneaking out though?
That's what I'm
College?
saying.
Graduated college.
High school.
Oh, okay.
That's what
okay,
I'm
okay.
saying though. Still, like, bro, you just graduated. Let him go party.
I mean, for 18, you don't have a time. I mean, like, there's definitely yes, I get it from the parents
You
and
gotta
stuff
move
like
out if he doing all that.
But bro,
that.
listen.
Bro, I think it's about time to.
This is where this is where it feels really bad, because I already feel bad. I got this kid caught. He's graduating. He's just trying to go to a party. If he would have just talked to him, he'd be like, bro, I just snuck out, by the way. I'm not up to nothing. Like, I'm trying to go to a party. Just,
Why was he lingering
bro,
around
he
for
was
15
acting
minutes?
sus. Like, he really was. I think what was probably happening,
Paranoid.
you know how it is when you sneak out. You're like, did they hear it?
Yeah.
Are they about to come
But
out? Our lights about
That
to
was
come
when we were
out?
14, bro.
Yeah, that's true.
Of
But
course.
he probably has
13.
strict ass parents. Like, it's not like I was just like, oh, fucking dude standing, call cops. Like, it's like he was staring me down, like looking at me weird. I pacing back and
He's like
forth,
looking at me weird.
but then crawled through a window.
That is weird.
And then
dude.
the thing that we weren't gonna call the cops even after the crawl through the window. But then what really made I didn't call the cops, but what made the cousin call the cops is the fact that he looked at him in the place and they made eye contact and he ducked.
Yeah.
So it's like if that was me, I would have been like or some shit like.
Yeah.
But so
I live here.
yeah, like so that happened.
Or at least be like, good, like
ducking
shit.
is
Yeah.
crazy.
I would have if it was me sneaking out, I would have talked to me. Like I would have been like, because he saw how it was. Like I was like
Should look crazy.
on alert or something. But and then this one's real quick. And I don't want to get into too much personal stuff, but the crazy. So I'll just give no backstory and then go a little bit back, like Kill Bill style. So girlfriend's at the crib. This looks like Lucky Charms flavor.
It looks like a Happy Meal toy.
It looks like a douche. Or like it does.
Douche.
It does look like
The douche.
this looks like a backpack.
It is. Yeah, it is a backpack. It's Backpack Boys.
Bruh. I saw a cool graffiti
There's
thing
a
where it was
button.
like one of these things, like a hide thingy, and like all colorful and shit. And then beside it was the same thing, but you saw inside of it, and it had like black and gray smoke that looked like demons and ghosts.
What
and
the
shit.
fuck?
I like that.
Yeah. He said I like that.
Anyway, girlfriend's out the crib, dog out. Husky dog, dumb dog, don't like the dog, stupid dog.
Damn, they just went on the dog, bro.
And so I think my theory is that it's a reincarnation of a previous human that like was in World War II for the wrong side, if you feel me. Like a bad person. I can see it in its eyes. I love dogs, but
Have you
this
seen
dog
that-
fucking sucks.
Have you actually, real quick, have you seen that video that's surfacing of that Ukrainian or no, it was the Russian soldier running into the Ukrainian pits. And
He was
he's
in the
like-
wrong trenches.
he's
He was
wrong
like, ah! Yeah, he fucked up. It's weird how wars are just on YouTube.
Well, back then it was a lot different.
Digital age, man.
But you can just like see like the Middle East war. You can see, but Ukraine. I've seen so many clips.
A lot
Like
of Ukraine.
Yeah, yeah.
a lot of clips. Anyway, so girlfriend's chilling, watching TV, probably 9 at night. Dog out, and then front door opens. 2 cops rush in, guns drawn, get the fuck down, like type shit. Like like these Columbus cops
her
do
crib?
not fuck around.
What the fuck?
Just walk into the house with guns, and there's like 2 walking in, get down type shit, hands up, and then like 4 behind them.
What?
And like, well, the front one's got the gun out, the
Yeah.
other one's got hand on gun, and so and dogs running around barking and shit. Almost got shot because I'm telling you, like, if your dog rushes an officer, they won't hesitate. They'll just fucking shoot him. And so like, my girl's like, can I help you? Like, what's going on? And they're like, we just got a 911 call that somebody's been stabbed to death with a knife from this apartment.
What?
And she's like,
Bro, I got an alert a couple days ago about like a bad stabbing or something like that.
slashing, a hack, slacking, slasher. She's like, what the fuck? No, like, you can look, like, what? Like, no one's been stabbed. But so it's just crazy that happened. But then backstory is like, it was a false call made on her by somebody that she had just been in an argument with her, like, in her family. She had been arguing with like her sister or whatever.
Oh my gosh.
And like, sometimes families are a little cuckoo
If-
and not super healthy emotionally or mentally and everything. So she had been arguing with one of those not so healthy tweakers, and they, when you get somebody so mad and they're petty, like, if they're mad enough, they're like,
Call the cops and make up a story?
I'll do fucking anything to just fuck their day up. Like, I'll just want to fucking just anything to inconvenience them. I'll shit on their car, like, just go weird levels of.
There's
shit.
different type of levels. There's people who self-harm in a way, and there's people who harm other things in a way. Like,
Yeah.
Like, some people just punch walls and fences and shit. Other people just fucking destroy shit, you know?
And so person was just like made a false report, and that's the funny thing about it is, like, even just hearing what they had heard in the call, it's like, bro, I can just imagine the person on the other end, like, I'd like to report a crime for this address. What happened? Somebody got their head cut off. Like,
my
just, like,
gosh.
making the craziest
Brutal
shit.
fucking murder.
Like, she tried to pretty much swat her. It's pretty much what she was trying to do. And so that shit was crazy. Columbus cops are interesting because with traffic laws and shit, like, if you're speeding or like you're a little left of center, Columbus cops aren't gonna fucking do shit. But if you're if you call for anything even slightly dangerous, guns are out. I've learned.
bro.
Like, they will not hesitate.
Wait, you said they...
Well, they got to protect
knocked
themselves and
first?
potentially someone
No,
else.
they didn't knock.
No, they just...
Which is crazy because, like, I don't understand how like, in an apartment, do they need a warrant, and then do they give the warrant to like the
Leasing office.
leasing office, or does the warrant get delivered to you, or do they even need as much of a warrant because it's an apartment and it's not technically yours? Like,
Actually, I don't know. I don't know.
That's
how
a
that
good...
works.
But what if you're renting a house?
yeah, and then on top of that, I kind of knew this, but I didn't fully put it together. Like, if they have these certain pieces of information regarding why they're there, certain things will bypass them needing a warrant.
Oh, of course.
Like, for example, they got a 911 call that somebody had been stabbed to death. Apparently, that's one of those
coming in.
things. We're
Yeah,
just
that's-
gonna
that makes
come on in.
sense. They're
That's
coming in.
instant coming, yeah.
Yeah, so that is just wild. And it makes me think another cop-heavy episode today. But yeah, it makes me also think about the time. I'm blanking on the name, which makes me feel really shitty. But there was a kid that we went to school with, and he had like missed a court date or something, like something very like small, not super bad and crazy. So he had a warrant, and for whatever reason, it was like a no-knock warrant or something, and they were serving it at like 2 a.m. or 1 a.m. And when they went in, I think like the mom answered the door, and she was like, "Yeah, he's in his room sleeping." They like go into his bedroom, and he wakes up. Lights are all off. He's waking up currently as they're in his room, and goes to grab for his vape the same way I would. Goes to grab for his vape, shot dead. It's that's why, and that's why it goes back to that thing of like cops crawling in through the window and then coming around the corner into your living room, and you see them, and like you're like, depending on how you react.
Imagine
that
the
goes
mom,
Depending on
down.
how you move your body, you might.
Imagine the mom, though, being like, yeah, he's in his room, and then
Yeah.
seeing that.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then imagine the cop, how dumb you feel when you're like, he's grabbing a weapon, shoot, dead. And then you
Step
go to look,
one.
and it's a fucking hide bar or something.
Step one, he should have asked the mom before going or entering in the room, does the kid or do you know if the kid owns any weapons or anything illegal?
Exactly. It's crazy. And this
Something in that sense.
another cop thing, which is super quick, is like this 911 call. This has been going viral lately, and it was this small, like little kid, like 10 years old, called the cops because his brother, which was like 28, living at home, was schizophrenic and had been acting really weird and like manic and shit, and had like threatened the family and stuff, and so he doesn't feel safe. He calls the cops on behalf of his mom and is like, hey, like we're worried about like what he might do. He's like scaring us, and he just came home with what looks like a boxed weapon, and they're like, did he like threaten you today? And he's like, well, no, but he's just really scary. Like, I don't know what guns come in, like if they come in a box or anything. But he just walked into his room.
Even the description, dude. Like, if he would have described a different way, like,
dude, it was so bad because this kid's like sounding mature and like smart, like, and he's really young, and calling the police and explaining the situation, and they're like, yeah, like, I mean, all he's doing, he's just in his room. He hasn't done anything wrong. He's just in his room, and he left, bought something, came back. Like, we can't do anything unless like he's done something wrong. And then he's like, and then at some point he like goes back and forth with them, like debating, and then he's like, all right, well, I guess I'll just call you once he's done something. And then hangs up the call, and then he like died that day. Like the brother like killed him and his mom.
oh my god.
It's just it's crazy because like on one hand you got to protect people's rights and they can't be abused, and like in certain scenarios it's like you need those rights of like, well, I didn't do anything wrong, like don't, like, why are you fucking with me? But on the other hand, like there's situations like that where it's like, dude, like lives could have been saved, but you just never know, like, because like you could be dealing with a Karen lady who's like saying that the 12-year-olds across the street with the lemonade stand are actually selling cocaine, and like she's just like a racist Karen.
Yeah.
And so like it's just you can see how it gets quite complicated. But yeah, due to timing the issues and scheduling and blah blah blah, this is a strange episode. I actually had like fashion related topics and like brand related topics, like trying to get more into the direction of like, obviously this podcast is always going to be like our life and shit, just talk about the kind of stuff we want to, showcase a personality to associate with the brand, all that kind of stuff. But we do want to like it would be crazy if we didn't also bring in topics regarding like the brand and fashion and stuff that aligns with like the clothing brand and shit. So I had some of that stuff, but we'll get into it next week. But I hope you guys enjoy a little story time with Hooli.
My Lyft driver tried to fuck me.
What? How's that?
That was a story I had lined up for today, but I really gotta go.
Fuck me,
We continued. My Lyft driver tried to fuck me.
That's crazy, bro. Was it like? Would it have been fun?
I don't think so.
He said,
I mean, I've done DoorDash deliveries where they try to fuck me.
This happened. My Lyft driver tried to fuck.
That's wild, bro. Ubers.
I kind of want to spill a bean and say he does have her number.
Lyft
though.
drivers fuck. Keep in mind. All right, bro. Fucking 9 to 5s. All right. Did you stop recording? You can get ready and leave if you want, but Scheunemanbrand.com, the Stone Collection out now, the Foundation Collection, it's all beautiful things made ethically and in Italy with passion, care, and meaning behind every little stitch. Check it out. Check out the lookbook. Check out the website. Like, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Matt Demon on Matty D Trapezoid on socials. Check out his Spotify. New projects coming soon. New music coming soon. Mofo MQ, follow him, but be careful, ladies. And so, peace. Have a good one. Love you.